Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
We are about to admit the waiting room. They come streaming in. Hello.
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny.
Hello.
How is everybody? I am trying to
Genevieve.
find out how to make myself large. Dorothy Weitzman just coming in. Lots of friends have just arrived.
Cyberosic, that's nice.
Lots of friends
You
have
look
just arrived.
you look good sized. You look pretty large.
Do I look large enough to fill the entire screen?
Well, I'm looking on my phone, but the piano area looks fine.
Okay, good. Who's this, by the way?
This is just a fan, Linda Burnett, and
Okay.
I always try to help people with Zoom if I can.
Yeah. Well, I will talk about my Zoom woes momentarily. Well, let's just get started here. Welcome.
Well, and I'm not to that yet.
Winter Fridays. My name is Dean, and I'm so glad to meet all these fans of Jacqueline Schwab and all these fans of Community Church of Boston, who are the sponsors of this event. You can also find this broadcast concert on our YouTube channel. It will be archived there under concerts.
He needs to figure out how to
we are doing this
make it
Friday.
permanently big.
I am
But I
going
don't
to
think he
mute
knows how
all.
to. He can do it as host. I can't do it.
Do you know how to do that?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. And continue to say that Jacqueline Schwab needs no introduction to you because most of you know her already. I have 3 words to say about Jacqueline: elegance, grace, style. And I've admired Jacqueline's music for a long time, as many of you have, and we're so glad that she is here with a very different program, which I have not heard before. I urge you to check the chat, where I'm going to be telling you about some upcoming really interesting, wonderful events. They go all the way through March, and I'll start by telling you the very last one, which is March 18th, and I just programmed her. Her name is Maura Smiley. And Maura Smiley is just our vocal hero of the planet. And she's had several wonderful women's voice groups that she has formed. And she used to be in the group Solas with Seamus Egan and all kinds of associations like that. And that's the very last one. Between now and then, there's some really cool events. So join us again on a Friday or on a Sunday, where we have quite a variety of events. Every Sunday, a different topic and a different musician. So it's quite a wonderful feast of people who are hungry to learn and hungry to share and hungry to change this world. Jacqueline Schwab will give us a presentation. I don't even know how long. We didn't even talk about that. There's no limit to how short or how long. It's up to you, Jacqueline Schwab. There will also be on the chat the link to Jacqueline's PayPal tip jar and Venmo tip jar. So generous to performers who have had such a hard time in the last couple of years with this reality. Jacqueline Schwab, it's yours. Take it away. Let's go like this to Jacqueline.
Okay, do it again.
An original sound I meant to.
Okay.
There.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much to Dean, who has not admitted much, but he is a stupendous singer, songwriter in his own right. I should have invited him to do something with me tonight, but I've been chasing pixies in the last week, and I think Dean has too. So we'll have to wait for another time. But tonight, this might not be your usual protest song evening. Some of these songs will be protest. They're all to deal with social justice in one way or another. Some of them will sound discouraged. Some of them, I hope, will give you heart. And I'm going to dive in to two Scottish songs. Actually, the first one is a border song, English-Scottish border wars. A favorite of mine, Go to Berwick, Johnny. And so it's really about regaining the honor, exhorting people to fight. And then the second song takes the opposite stance, in a sense. It's a song out of Robert Burns' Scottish Musical Museum, The Deal Tuck the Wars, where the singer in the song, I won't be singing, but is complaining and mourning that her sweetheart is off to the wars, and she doesn't know if she'll see him again. So Go to Berwick, Johnny, and Deal Talk the War. Oops.
Apparently, there's a quality problem with the sound. I'm going to replace the piano mic with another microphone. Just give me a second.
It's been a week of Pixies. We actually did a sound check this afternoon, and apparently at 4:30 this microphone worked, but something has changed between then and now. Well, why don't I talk to you a little bit? We hope we'll be able to carry on, and in hopes that we can, talk a little bit about Robert Burns. I don't have a lot to say, but you can, if you don't know about him, he's worth knowing. A stunning poet, 18th century, short life, didn't live till age 40. He collected a lot of folk songs and set his own words to them. He was part of a huge publication in the Scots Musical Museum. He was a farmer, I think a failed farmer. And above all things, he really believed in the equality of everybody. It's expressed in the song I'm going to do in a moment if we get a piano sound that we are happy with. His famous song, A Man's a Man for All That, and I'm sure if he had lived in the 21st century, he wouldn't have titled it quite like that. But it was really a startling song in its own day, just saying that everybody deserves credit for what they do, and should be able to carry themselves with the same amount of pride. I'd hoped to put some words into your chat, but right now I think we're dealing with the sound. Let me just check something. Here we go. I'll try something. Happier? Shall I go ahead, Edmund, do you think?
One person says sudden improvement in quality of your speaking, but no little piano sound. And somebody says no, volume is way too low. Okay.
All right, we're going to work on the volume. You'll all get a slightly different experience. I'm sorry to say, since I did
Dean is saying something.
It was better where it was before.
Is that feedback?
I think I better try a loud sound just to make sure.
Can we try a loud sound? I'll just say, voice mic is loud, but piano mic is low. No, that's that. All right, now try.
Can those be switched on there, by the way?
That's better. Go for it.
Okay, Dean is giving you a thumbs up.
Okay, so here we go with Mr. Burns, and then we're going to leave us.
Ask Dean to say what he's saying.
Dean, can you say that again, please?
I would say just talk without using that.
Sorry for all this, everybody. We thought we had taken
distorted.
care of these pixies, but
Vocal mic is very distorted, so just
put the mic down and just talk. We can hear you.
Just talk.
I was wrong. But the piano sounded
hello,
great.
how's that?
That's better. Okay.
There's so many variables in these things. I won't begin to go into them. Okay, shall I go ahead?
Yes.
That was loud playing, by the way. It won't always be that loud. You didn't really think you were coming here. No, all right, so you didn't think you were coming for a piano check. I think this is so far better than we got on Wednesday, though. So I think that was, but as I told Dean, that was a low bar. So anyway, all right. What do you think?
Go ahead.
Shall I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Here
Yeah.
we go.
Somebody put in the chat that they had their volume all the way up and they could barely hear it. I realized that there's a button that's been pressed that I need to unpress, but it may come in very loud. So please, everybody, protect your ears for a second while I unpress this button. Check the volume on the mic on the phone. Okay, 2 thumbs up. Everybody's getting 2 thumbs up. Yeah, I think that did it.
Those are 2 songs, I bet you really knew that first one, that are still alive with us today, that were published in around the time of the Civil War in a seminal collection called Slave Songs of the United States. One of the collectors was from a family that her brother was one of the architects of the Boston Public Library, and her husband was married to one of the great abolitionists. I mean, her husband was the son of a great abolitionist, so William Lloyd Garrison. And you can look up the book and buy a Dover edition. But the first piece was Michael Rowed the Boat Ashore, which I guess I used to always maybe think that it was by the Weavers or something, but it really was collected at that point in the Civil War. And the second one was the powerful No More Auction Block for me. No More Auction Block for me. In the 70s, I lived in on Marlborough Street in the Back Bay in one of those great brownstones, and we could look out and see the Charles. And it was sort of a railroad flat place. There were 5 of us, and for you dancers, we called it Long Ways as for as many as will, and we had dances there. But there was one year where some spiritual group, I don't mean African American spiritual, I mean some religious group, rented the apartment above, and every night as I was trying to sleep, they would sing Michael Row the Boat Ashore for about 3 hours. and I certainly heard enough of it for quite a while, and I didn't want to hear it. But then just this week, I just said, I'm ready to hear it again. And it's a really wonderful song, and I hope it can still live there for you. From the time of the Civil War, I'm going to play a song made famous by the singing Hutchinson family, and they were, in a way, our country's, you might call them our country's first folk singers or popular song singers. They call themselves different tribes, and they were quite progressive. Some of the issues that we would call progressive in those days, we might not call progressive now, but the ones that I would still call progressive were very staunch supporters of women's rights. They were also very strongly abolitionist, and they toured with many abolitionists around the country, and I think endearing the cause to people and just spreading the word. This piece was popular apparently with both the Union and Confederacy, I think. But it certainly makes a strong anti-war statement, even though the Hutchinsons also sang strongly about abolition, abolishing slavery. But this one you might have sung when you were a kid, Tenting on the Old Campground by Walter Kittredge, 1864. And it sort of starts, it has got this flowing major key tune, and it sounds so sweet, but the chorus is tenting tonight, tenting tonight, tenting on the old campground. And the last chorus grinds to a halt, dying tonight, dying tonight, dying on the old campground. So tenting tonight, tenting on the old campground. Hi, how are you doing out there? If we're still here and we're still okay with sound, I'd love to do one to have you join in singing another spiritual before we leave for a different era, or at least a different part of the country. Wade in the water, and maybe we'll get some words to appear in the chat. Anyway, wade in the water, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the waters, these waters, or the water. And we'll just do maybe a couple selected verses. See those people dressed in white? God's gonna trouble the water. They look like children of the Israelites. God's going to trouble the water. And then the other verse that maybe I'll do, or you can make up your own since you're at home anyway. See those children dressed in red. Must be the children that Moses led. And so then back to the chorus. Hope you feel free to join in, dance around. The water, you know, in a lot of the spirituals, now it's thought pretty much a lot of the songs were not just spirit lifters, but they were actually directional. They were saying, you know, cross the river to get to freedom, or be in the water. So well, for many reasons. And some songs really have signposts. Some songs have signposts. Okay, I don't know what. Maybe Edmund's telling me to play and not talk. Yeah, they would lose a set on the bloodhounds. But you know all that. Anyway, okay, here we go. Hope you're singing out there. We sure need all the singing we can get at home, and hopefully we'll get to a point this spring, we hope, where people can sing safely together. And a lot of these songs, spirituals and others, really can give a lot of hope and faith for change, even if things look somewhat grim. I'm going to move to a Canadian song that this dates back to the mid 19th century, but I'm going to play it more Schwab-ized. I'm going to Schwab-ize as I ever always do. This is Un Canadien Errant, written in 1842 by Antoine Jean Lajoie. Probably mispronouncing his name, but it was written at the time of a rebellion and Lower Canada Rebellion, and many, oops, I've lost my notes on it, but many were really had to leave the country or they would be sentenced to death. And so you get a lot of expat Canadians, and the US gained, and some of them, I think, came down, and we could call them Acadians, and all down the East Coast and around our country. So Un Canadien Errant, and we still at country dances play this for a waltz occasionally. Little bittersweet, but also sweet. So if you're hanging in there tonight, I'm not going to go all night, but since we had all these sound problems, I think I will extend a little bit beyond the hour. Still have some pieces I'd love to share. And right now we're going to go south of the border to Cuba, and also back, well, ahead of time from the last piece, to the 1890s, time that Cuba was working towards independence, and there was a composer, Ignacio Cervantes Cavanagh, lived 1847 to 1905, who was a composer, and he composed these habaneras, which you're familiar with that rhythm, I think. Yum, da dum, bum, bum, ba dum, bum. And maybe later I'll play a slightly more straightforward one that you know well. But these you might know less well. That they're I think he was really showing his heart in these. These aren't meant to be danced to, but you can see the influence of the habanera in them, because Ignacio was a firebrand, a political firebrand, during the time of Cuba's independence from Spain, and apparently twice he had to leave Cuba, fleeing for his life or to avoid being imprisoned. And that will play into the titles of these songs. The first one, I don't speak Spanish, so I'm going to mangle them, but Tiene que ser, and it apparently translates into something like "it must be," which is sort of how I think we're all feeling right now about many things. The second one maybe was when he returned in between his two emigrations from the Cuba. Vuelta al Hogar, return to the hearth, so returning home. But the third one speaks for itself. Ilusiones perdidas, lost illusions. So three miniatures, they'll be over before you blink. Three miniature habaneras.
I love, I've been engaged in this journey and playing music of cultures that I hadn't grown up playing. And it's a wild ride, and those pieces really turn on a dime, but they really give you a sense of a temperament that does that and can go to heights and depths very quickly. And but I don't want to leave you with that lost illusions, even if it's what some of us may be going through right now. Oh gosh, let's see if we can fit all this in. But I think we need something sweet before having one more sad song. But if you can take it, but I think I'd like to play this beautiful habanera, which also has its wistful meaning in moments, but has a lovely sweet tune. And you probably heard it. Maybe you've heard me play it because I just love playing it. La Paloma. It was written in the 1850s by somebody visiting from Spain. Sebastian Radier used to spell his name with I-R-A, and then he eventually changed it to Y. But he visited Cuba from the Basque area in Spain and fell in love with the habanera rhythm. And his La Paloma, he never really, I think, reaped the benefit of it. But now apparently it's been one of the most recorded Hispanic pieces. And apparently it's been recorded almost as much as the Beatles yesterday also. So it's, you might even hear it in an airport or something like that. But it's a lilting habanera, which translates to the dove. And the words have to do with love and separation. You love somebody, but you're separated from them. And according to an NPR special I heard some years ago, they also have come to me, and you might love your country, but you're not able to live in your country. And perhaps you love a political party, but they're no longer in power, not currently in power. Anyway, but my version has a dove flying around between the verses, and thinking of it as the dove of peace. And I don't know about you, with me feeling like we're having this storm, blasting storm coming in, I feel like I need this moment of peace. So I'll try to give it to you and share it. La Paloma. Thanks. Thanks. Well, I'm going to step. It feels like every time I go do one of these concerts is stepping off a cliff because we never know what's going to happen and how many pixies are going to show up. Some of them operator error, but many of them are things totally out of our control. But also, I'm stepping out, and maybe it's just in my COVID pandemic haze. Knock on wood, no COVID yet here in our household. But I've been thinking, maybe you have too, just thinking about, and especially with thinking about protest songs, thinking about my childhood. My mother in Pittsburgh often took me to hear a wonderful woman, Vivian Richmond, who sang spirituals. And my parents were very progressive and often involved in the teachers union and many other, and in raising money for civil rights marches. And my life went a different direction, not my politics, but my actions. And I really have been engaging more in music making. But I've been recently thinking about Mikis Theodorakis, a wonderful Greek composer who came to the fore in the 60s. He did the music for Zorba the Greek, that movie, wonderful movie, and also a very difficult movie to take in, Z, really a political satire of what was going on in Greece in those days. And in the movie, you think you're winning the war, and then 5 minutes before the end of the film, they think they're winning the war of getting rid of the dictatorship. And then in the last 3 seconds, something flashes on the screen that the next day it was all back to the dictator. Anyway, it's a tough movie. But anyway, he did beautiful music for that. And then my parents, somehow we came across this recording of a suite of songs he had composed, Ballad of Mauthausen. And he set the words for a Greek poet, probably Iakovos Kambanelis, who was imprisoned in Mauthausen concentration camp during the war. And he wrote about it. And apparently Theodorakis was in another camp during the war also. So these words really moved him. And then this wonderful CD was made with this singer Maria Farandouri, which I think you can still get in CD form. But also Joan Baez apparently sang this quite a bit, has sung this quite a bit. And you can find a YouTube of her singing this first song. So it's in Greek. I'm not going to sing it, and I'm not going to publish the words, but you might be able to look them up. But they're I'm going to only try the first song. But the first one is Song of Songs, and so the writer is thinking about his beloved, and the words in Greek are something like "Ti ωραία που είναι mi agapy mu, my lover." So it's just very beautiful, which I have no idea if it will read at all since I'm not singing it. And anyway, it's very lilting. You can think of it as also a lullaby. For those of waltzers in the room, you might think it's a waltz, but then it goes back and forth between 6/8 and 9/8. So it in a sense just carries on that rocking motion just a little further, but we won't ever probably be playing it in your neighborhood soon as a waltz. Anyway, so here goes nothing but the first piece from Ballad of Mauthausen by Theodorakis. And thinking about all those who write when under duress, and how that's been inspiring to many people. Well, that song has me in a thrall at the moment, and if you get to hear it, and it's one of the recordings, this great orchestra, his beautiful orchestral arrangement. So I hope you'll be able to
Beautiful.
hear it. If I have your forbearance, I thought I might do two more pieces because I don't want to leave us quite there. I'd like to play a Chilean canción, and then end with something that we can all sing. Not the canción, but this is all El Copuy Rojo, written in around 1916, and it's the Copuy Rojo is the national flower of Chile, and it comes from this ancient legend that I think this song discusses and waxes on, where there were two. It's a Romeo and Juliet legend, really, but it's about the folkloric origins of the country, I think. And there was two tribes, the Copa and the Hui tribe, if I got this right. Anyway, two warring tribes, and one person from one tribe and one from the other fell in love and wanted to get married, and their tribes, this was not to be, and they were murdered by their tribes, and their bodies were thrown into a lake. But as the tribes were mourning and suddenly realizing how foolish and stupid and crazy that was, that they had murdered people like that for that reason, a flower grows out of a lake right where they had thrown the bodies. It's sort of it's almost like one of the English ballads, and so the flower is still revered. I'm told Barbary Allen. That's it. And thanks, Edmund. And I'm told that you're not allowed to pick that flower in Chile, but it's sold everywhere, and in some ways, like even in gas stations. I mean, the plastic replicas of it, and it's somewhat like when you go to Hawaii, you get a lei laid on you, and the Copuy Rojo, same thing. So even though it had a tragic story, the outcome, I think, is a beautiful one for social justice, where people realize they've done wrong and find some way of bringing their differences together. So I'll play that, and then I'm hoping we can still do one more piece that we can all sing together to gear us up for the storm tonight. Okay, so El Copuy Rojo. Thanks so much for sharing this evening with me. I hope it's given you some food for thought and some music to relax with and some music to fill your spirits. It's helped me not think too much about the storm. If you want to stay connected with my music, I'm Jacqueline Schwab, and I have a website, jacquelineschwab.com. You can sign up for mailings, and I won't spam you or sell your name. You would be most welcome to tip me for this concert if you haven't bought a concert ticket. It's not required, but it would help me earn a living. And I think somewhere maybe in the chat there might be a way to do that, or if not, try to find me my email, Jacqueline at jacquelineschwab.com, and you can just email me and connect with me from that. I'd love to hear from you, and I don't always respond right away, but I eventually do. I just want to many thanks for this. First of all, those of you who came, and those of you who tried to come on Wednesday night for my Burns concert. I'm so sorry. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for all the things that happened beyond our control. It was a raft of problems. But thanks for those of you who tried, and if any of you tuned in both nights, I'm yours forever. So thank you to all of you for coming. I want to thank Dean for this. Dean Stevens for organizing this and for all the work he does for Community Church. And I do hope you will get to hear him sometime. He has recordings, has a beautiful, beautiful voice, and some of his material is in Spanish and some of it is in English, but wonderful, wonderful songs. I want to thank my husband, Edmund Robinson, who is not normally a concert tech, but is the minister right now of the First Church in Boston, which is right around the corner from Community Church. And hopefully we'll have some event together sometime soon. But Emin, you really have saved me tonight and many a time, and donating your time when you probably have one or two other things you might want to be doing, if not
like
also
a really
writing your
charming
sermon. But
person.
anyway, thank you so much for Edmund, and thank you. I hope I got everybody. Thank you to Community Church for just being there all these years and carrying the torch, carrying the spirit for those of us who want to do something, people who want to do something about social justice. So I think we have to end with a song by Pete Seeger, who in 2014 died around this time of year, but he was writing songs, I think, all throughout his life, and really putting his money where his mouth was with social justice and so many different causes, as you know, or if you don't know, if you're new to him, do not miss looking him up. But I thought we might sing my favorite, Turn, Turn, Turn. And do we have some words in the chat, Edmund, do you think? We don't have words in the chat. So I'll just, if that's the case, I might not play all the verses, but we'll see. Anyway, but the chorus, to everything, turn, turn, turn. These are words from Ecclesiastes that he adapted. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose
under heaven.
Thank you, Pete Seeger. Thanks, Dean. Thanks, Edmund. And thanks all of you for coming. Joke. Oh, and I think we'll stick around afterwards if anybody's still left, and we're happy to chat if you're still there. Okie doke. Oh, great. Oh, so, okay, well, maybe I'll see if you want to sing, I would be happy to play. There's 4 verses.
Can't really sing simultaneously, though. There's too much lag.
Thanks so much. And if anybody is
Thank you, Jacqueline Schwab. Thank you so much.
Maybe you're referencing it to
We
you.
have, hello, let me just
Yes.
say a word and then I'll unmute everybody and we can have a conversation. Jacqueline, turn, always touches my heart. Reminds me of when at Community Church, we celebrated Pete Seeger's 100th birthday in 2018, I think it was, with a concert that raised several $1,000s for the Highlander Center after their main building was burned down by some white supremacists. Pete Seeger, thank you for reminding us of him, and thank you for all those beautiful songs and the inspiration. Again, I end this by saying the three words: grace, elegance, and style. Jacqueline Schwab, you just inspire us. And thank you, all of you, for joining us tonight. We've got a whole bunch of more Fridays coming up this winter. Will you come hang with us on a Friday? I'm going to read you a few of the names. John and Rachel Nicholas are next Friday. They're our folk rock friends from Camden, Maine, who wrote beautiful songs. There you are, Jacqueline. And the week after that, from New York, is Jean Rowe. It's spelled R-O-H-E. She's a brilliant songwriter, has written amazing things. She has a duo with Liam Robinson, who is the music director of the Broadway show Hadestown. Find out about Hadestown. That's an amazing thing. But Jean also sings great songs, has been at Community Church a couple times, both as a solo as with a band. The week after that, we have blues young diva from Boston, Danielle Miralia. That's on February 25th. The week after that, we have a certain Dean Fleming who will be doing something, maybe inviting a few other friends to join. The week after that, we have Rit Hen and Beth Falcone, who are also from New York. Rit has been on bass player on two of my entire records. Amazing bass man, his wife Beth, also a pianist and a singer. The week after that, we have
Good gal review.
Susie Williams, famously of Storm and Norman and Susie. You've been in Boston for a really long time. Remember them on the streets and in the bars. Susie is our buddy. She started the series with her other friend, Bill Burnett, a songwriter extraordinaire, and they are a duet known as the Boners. And this other duet that Susie is in doesn't have a name. They just call themselves Susie Williams and Brad Kay. Brad Kay is a brilliant stride and other styles, early styles piano player. Brad Kay and Susie.
That's everybody.
Final concert, March 18th,
Say
is
hi, Jenny.
Smiley. And that was an add-on at the very end. She said, "I'd love to do that."
I bet she won't.
It's just incredible. So that's it. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. If there are any questions, we could have people just unmute and raise their hand. I think Leonard Merriman, he's always the first one to raise his hand. Hello, Leonard. Join us.
Hello, Dean. Hello, Jacqueline. Beautiful playing of beautiful music. Are you
Thank you.
doing this from your living room, basically? You're not at the church, is that right?
I'm not at the church. I'm in my piano room upstairs. Yeah.
Where are you, in Cambridge?
We're in Lexington.
Oh, Lexington. So
Lexington.
it's just a beautiful. I want to tell a little story about that last song that you sang, that you played. Turn. It has a special meaning to me. I knew Pete Seeger very well for many years and did some concerts with him and things. But that particular song was one of our favorites. My parents each died this month, 7 years ago and 2 years ago. And 7 years ago, the rabbi came to my mother's funeral and he wanted everybody to sing this song. And he hadn't brought the words, and he said, "Oh, well, open the Bible and sing it from Ecclesiastes." Well, of course, it's not in Ecclesiastes at all. And so that fell very flat. And then 5 years later, we decided that we would sing that song, but again, we didn't have the words. So we said, we're going to sing the chorus and only the chorus. And that's what we sang as part of my father's funeral. But Pete was a real dear. Do you sing his if I Had a Hammer as well?
Yeah, I've never played it actually, but that's such a great song. I mean, I've sing a lot. I don't usually sing.
If you have any questions or comments, I can
maybe
say
I'm
that
muted.
too.
I know.
Okay.
Do you know the story of the origin of that song? If I Had a Hammer, well, it actually started in 1949 when Lee Hayes heard a recording of Mark Blitzstein's The Airborne Symphony, and it ends with sing not without warning, not without warning, warning. And Lee Hayes wrote, sing out danger, sing out a warning. He sent that to Pete Seeger, and Pete wrote the music for it. And when when one of my meetings with Pete, I mentioned this, and he said, I never knew that was inspired by Mark Blitzstein. But I will tell you something that you don't know. Do you know why the Weavers never made that a hit? They left it to Peter, Paul, and Mary? Because our manager, Howard Leventhal, said, I got you guys off the blacklist. I don't want you going around singing about hammers and sickles.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Well, we hope to be performing for Community Church in June if this series continues, or on Sunday if it doesn't. We'll want either the 10th or the 12th. And we've got a tie to Community Church. So we first performed there in 1988, but it goes back even further than that because my parents visited Sue Koretz the year before I was born in 1948. So we've got ties to the Community Church way back, and we really love coming whenever we can and whenever we can. Thank you, Dean. I'll sign off now.
Thank you for it's an honor that you came tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Dave and Judith, I see you have been unmuted. Would you like to say hello too?
I'm unmuted. Okay.
Judith Woodruff.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed the concert. And
thank you so much.
And there was a wonderful selection of songs. And I hope that we can get to have you back again.
Well, thank you.
Yes, it was wonderful. And do you have a website or something that we can tune into you and get to hear you when you're not with us?
I do. It's under my name, which is Jacqueline Schwab. So JACQUELINESCHWAB.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judith and Dave, who are board members of Community Church.
Can I say hello to Barbara Adams? It's good to see your smiling face. And to my cousin, Virginia Robinson, it's good to see your smiling face.
It's great to be here. What a nice tree.
Yes.
Is there anybody joining us from a different country than the United States?
I don't see anybody.
Just thought I'd check. I've been enjoying the fact that we have had Zooms on Sundays from New Zealand. We've had speakers from next Sunday. In fact, our speaker is from Yalta, Ukraine. Is that right? Is Yalta in Ukraine?
Wow.
Yalta's no longer in Ukraine.
Where is Yalta now?
The Russian Federation. It's part of Crimea.
Okay, Yalta, Crimea.
But Dean, are you open on Sunday, or is the storm going to wreak havoc on that?
You bet we're open. We're a Zoom. We can just determine that we're not broadcasting from there and broadcast from anywhere on the planet.
Good.
Which might be in the living room by the fire. Yes. Regis Tremblay is now living in Yalta, originally from Maine, and his activist buddy is named Bruce Gagnon. The two of them are doing our program. Music by amazing songwriter named Cozy Sheridan. We're trying to just get incredible players from all over the place to join us, both on Sundays as well as other times. So that's what we're doing. And I apologize, as do Jacqueline and Edmund, for the precocious notion that any bozo on the planet could become a broadcaster and do one of these Zooms and actually sound good and sound good enough. But guess what? Jacqueline's talent transmits even through this crappy medium.
Thank you. That's very kind. Thank you.
And screw Zoom and screw all of this stuff. And someday we'll be together. That's my theme song these days, over and over. Someday we'll be together, and we'll have you live to play our beautiful piano, recently tuned. Not recently now, but recently, whenever the next time you're actually going to be with us live in physical presence. So
thank you. It's been an honor to see people I see now people from all across the country, friends. Some I've just written to and haven't met, and others I know well and hope to catch up with you soon. Thank you so very, very much. And we probably would never have a gathering of this particular group. So this is a silver lining of Zoom. I mean, we are all waiting to go back to live, to in-person performances, but still, it was really, it's wonderful seeing you all here. And
Seems like there's an ending for this, a time to Zoom and a time together.
So is this the time to end, or does anybody have anything they want? Anyway.
Yeah, just sharing gratitude from California that I wouldn't be able to be there otherwise. So.
Oh, Arlene, always great to hear from you and to sort of have our little notes back and forth. And even though it's not the same as seeing you and David in your house that you've redone that I haven't even seen yet. But anyway,
I'm here if you want to warm up. So
thank you. I'm looking forward to visiting you all, really. So, Dean, do you think this is the moment?
This is the moment, and everybody remember that all proceeds from tonight go to the performers, and just tell you that life is too short, and then you die. So drink in every delicious moment, especially those moments we get to hear Jacqueline Schwab play the piano. Delicious moments, every one of them. Thank you all, and spread the word that this concert is also on our YouTube channel. Look under concerts, Community Church of Boston official, and it'll be there forever unless Jacqueline wants to delete it. She'll go on and listen to it, and she'll hear all the mistakes. And I didn't hear any, but she would. Anyway. I'm pressing the end button and declaring for this Friday, and join us next Friday and next Friday and next Friday till the winter is over. I'm declaring the meeting over for everybody.
And thank you, Dean. A big hand for Dean. Thank you.